Hi.
Hello.
So, we have finally gone through Kamen Rider OOO, your first Kamen Rider series, and by your profile pic, I think our lovely guest in this video will be able to tell that it went well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is our review for Nick's first Kamen Rider series, Kamen Rider OOO, and it's also my first Kamen Rider series that I watched about 2 or 3 years ago, back in 2017. So, it's both our first, except I've seen more since then, so we're gonna get basically 2 perspectives on every topic we're gonna talk about.
And that's pretty cool.
Okay, so I sent you the list of the characters, and we are going to talk about some characters paired together, since it makes more sense to talk about them paired together, because either one character has a lot less content to talk about, or their just stories are so intertwined.
Yeah.
The only twist for you, Nick, is that we're actually going to be going up the list, based on it, and we're eventually going to build up to Ankh and Edgy at the end.
Okay.
So obviously, first, Kogami and Erica. So, you're gonna go first with your thoughts. What were your thoughts on their characters?
So, I mean, I liked how he just made a bunch of cakes, and then she just ate the cakes. That was her job, along with other things. I thought that was
also how
funny.
She literally helped them win, like, a bunch of battles at the end.
She was the win condition.
We did go over that. She was a
Yeah.
win condition. It was just, she's there. Done. Also, I think one of the funniest moments of the movie, at least for me, was when they were captured and she just, like, took a nap.
Yeah, she's just like, I'm about to head out.
Now one of your predictions was going to be that Kogami was going to be the main bad guy, which is a pretty common prediction. Joke. So we're in basically the final arc right now. And we still, up to this point, do not know who the main villain will be. So at this point, who do you think the main villain will be?
So originally, when I was thinking about this, I was thinking like Dr. Maki, but then I'm like, what if instead, because I don't know his name, I just call him, what if it's the Cake Man?
Oh, Kogami?
Yeah, what if it's him?
Okay.
I mean, maybe I miss this because I'm dumb, but we don't know his full reason why he still wants entirely all of those medals and stuff, and why he's so interested, aside from him being very interested in desires.
Okay. It's a very normal prediction, because obviously usually CEOs are the bad guy in TV shows.
Yeah.
But in this case, he was basically completely transparent throughout the entire show, for the most part.
Yeah, that's true. I guess still part of the reason I just thought he was because he knew so much and was, I guess, so involved in how some things happened. I just felt like he was, doing something.
Yeah, I think I had the exact same feeling, and I bet pretty much anyone who's watched O's has the exact same feeling that he knows a lot, and you question him. He's also this big CEO that you think he would end up being the main bad guy. So yeah, it's completely normal to think that. But I do like how they actually went against the normal trope and actually made him be completely honest that he wanted to use the power of desire and greed to make the world a better place and everything.
Yeah.
Now, next up, we're going to be talking about 4 characters, Gamel, Mazul, Uva, and Kazari.
Alright.
So, which one of these do you want to start on? I'll let you choose, out of the 4. Hello? Oh my god, Nick? Damn.
Constantly getting beat up.
Do you cut out the entire time?
Yeah, let's go.
Oh, you cut back in for he constantly got beat up. So I was doing you want to talk about Uva first?
Yeah.
Okay, Uva.
I felt so bad for him.
Yeah, he did not have a fun time in that show. Literally, everyone had a turn at beating him up.
Yeah. It was.
I also think that overall, like, besides maybe Gamel, out of all the Greed, he probably did like the least.
Yeah.
Like, he was sidelined for a lot of the show for like Kazari or Maki, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
He never really got his time in the spotlight, and even at the end, he was basically killed off screen.
Yeah.
Like, they jump down and then he just dies, and it's kind of like, oh, he's the only Greed not to die on screen.
Yeah. He just got beat up a bunch.
Yeah.
Like, I still feel bad for him. He just got, like, the entire show, he just got beat up the entire time.
Yeah. So we just talked about Uva and how he did not have a good time during that show and got sidelined.
Yeah.
The sad thing is, for the most part, the only major thing Uva does is revive Gamel and Mizul. Besides that, he doesn't really do anything major.
Yeah, no.
Like, he kind of felt a bit like an afterthought.
He was just there, existing.
Yeah. Now, I feel like these two we had to talk about together, Gamel and Mizul.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on them?
I mean, I guess they had an interesting relationship between them.
Yeah.
Of just, you know, Gamel was just kinda just being...
Senpai noticed me.
Yeah, basically. But I guess I don't really have too many thoughts on them, to be honest.
I felt kind of bad for Gamel. He always was just a puppet for everyone else.
Yeah, he was just... Everyone was just pulling his strings. He didn't really do much for himself.
Yeah.
I don't...
And Mizul, I'll say my thoughts on him, because I do have some thoughts on Mizul. I also felt like she kind of ended up with none, because she went around trying to manipulate everyone and then, like, failed every time.
Yeah, it was kind of funny.
She was like, you should listen to me, Dr. Boy. Wait, Dr. Boy, why aren't you listening? What the fuck? Dude, stop. Yeah. But if there is one Greed who did something, it's Kazari. Great transition. So...
Backstabbed everyone.
He did, and he actually had somewhat of a part to play. And somehow he was the first one to perma-die.
Yeah.
He actually made moves in the series, and I felt like he was trying to further his own ends.
Yeah.
But I think you can definitely tell by the end that the Greed were getting sidelined.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
I was about to say I kind of like that too. That he was trying, I guess, to change and in his words, like evolve and stuff. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
You know. So.
Now, time for the big bad of the series, Dr. Maki. So, what are your thoughts on Dr. Maki? I think this is gonna be interesting.
So he definitely is quite the interesting character with, you know, wanting to end the world. You know, he killed his sister and all that. And he believes that, you know, it's better to end before things go on for too long and his words become ugly.
Yeah, actually, I want to ask you, what were your... Because I don't think I ever talked to you about this. What were your thoughts about the reveal that he killed his sister? Were you expecting it?
I was not expecting that, and I thought that was super messed up. I was like, oh, what?
I don't think I recorded that session where he killed his sister.
No.
I recorded the last, like, 18 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
I definitely didn't think he was just gonna kill his sister. That's not what I was thinking happened. But then he did. I'm like, oh. Well then.
Yeah, would you say he was a good villain?
Yeah, I thought he was quite interesting because his backstory was pretty interesting. I did quite like that. I kind of thought it was funny though. Each time anyone literally touched his little doll, he just freaked out. That was kind of funny.
I think the most memorable one was "Woo!"
Yeah. I will say that is quite the weakness though. That if
yeah,
you literally, again, I think I said this multiple times. If you just grab it, you win.
Yeah, just kick the baby.
Yeah.
Kick the damn baby.
Hunt the baby.
Yes. Now, actually, something interesting now actually segue us to our next topic is that line, which I wish was expanded upon more, but really wasn't. In Date's last episode, his birth, Maki does say to him that he was the closest to him since his sister. So I definitely found that interesting, but it was never really expanded upon.
Yeah.
So, a bit... I wish that was more expanded upon, but I definitely thought it was a nice sentiment, and definitely added a bit more to his character.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah. Now that obviously does transition us to our another group, Goto and Date, because their stories are basically completely intertwined.
Yeah.
Having like a master and apprentice relationship, and eventually passing on the mantle of birth.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like I have to ask this question. Who do you like more, Goto or Date? One, okay, I'll say one as characters, two as birth. Who do you think was better as birth? I think we already talked about that one a bit.
In my opinion, anyway, who was better as birth, I would say was Goto.
Yeah.
I felt like he just was better at using the suit and all its capabilities.
Yeah, he definitely seemed to be a lot more effective. Like, Date barely used the wings.
Yeah, like, did he ever actually use them? I
think he used them as a weapon at least once.
I legitimately didn't even know the wings were a thing till Goto. I was like, wait, those exist?
Yeah.
Right.
Something I do like is they definitely had them have different fighting styles no matter what.
Yeah.
Like, Date was a lot more like hand to hand, or I guess drill to face, but Goto definitely like used the gun a lot more, used the wings a lot more. Meanwhile, Date would use like the treads a lot more and be a lot more physical.
Yeah, he was a lot more up close and personal compared to Goto, who was more far away and shooting.
Yeah.
So.
But overall, they were really fun characters. And I know at one point, when Date was departing, obviously, they did do a death fake out. Did you think he was dead?
Yes, I was like, oh my gosh, he's dead. They killed him. He's dead. But then they were just like, nah, it was just a joke. Pretty funny. We got you there.
Again, there is part of me that obviously I love Date, but there is part of me that thinks that would probably have been more impactful to kill him off there. But then again, I'm still happy he's alive.
I definitely feel like that would have been a lot more impactful if he was gone. Yeah. It's just like JK. Yeah. So.
Now, we actually didn't talk about, but who do you like more, Goto or Date as a character?
I think who I like more as a character is probably Date. At first, I was like, I don't know how I feel about him. I just kind of, I guess, middle of the road. But I grew to like him a lot.
Yeah, at first you were definitely like when he first obviously I was excited because I got to see him, but you were just like, yeah, he's here. He's here now.
Yeah, he exists.
He exists. And obviously, the show builds up as it's going to be Goto, but then it's not. And Goto's like, the fuck? Should have been me.
Yeah.
Okay, now the next four, I feel, actually five, because I'm actually going to throw in one, are very intertwined, but, so I'm just going to say them all at once. Hina, Ankh, Eiji, Shingo, and I'm also going to throw in, Fake Ankh, or, as we like to dub him, Bitch Ankh. That was probably That was one of the. You were sad for a while after that. It's just a shirt saying "I'm a bird boy."
Oh.
And he also has a shirt saying "I'm a bird boy." And they both have shirts saying "I'm a bird boy." Also, oh shit.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh! What? What?
So!
I'm so sad.
Do you need a moment?
I'm so sad. Why would they do this? It's okay.
You okay?
I'm okay. I'm not okay, but I'm okay. I'm boy.
You good?
Yeah.
You sure?
That hurt a lot, but it's okay.
Were you not expecting that?
I just didn't want to believe it would happen.
Were you expecting it this early? I guess we're late in the game, but still.
I had a feeling it was definitely something was gonna happen this episode.
Okay, can I just say something for whoever's watching? Because I feel like this is definitely gonna be in the video.
Yeah.
For further context, we're actually stopping for tonight, and we're gonna be continuing tomorrow. So, Nick, you're gonna be able to dwell on this all night. What a great way to end.
My son, my boy.
They've slaughtered my child.
Yeah.
But first, let's talk about it. Let's talk about Hina quick. Okay, now let's move on.
Alright.
So, Shingo didn't get to do a lot during the series because he was inside Ankh. What were your thoughts on Shingo, though?
I guess from the little bit we saw of him, I thought it was interesting that he, for one, like, wanted to save Ankh. Because, from being, basically being controlled that whole time. But he still wanted to help out and stuff. And then with, like, fights as well.
Yeah.
Even though he couldn't really throw.
Yeah. He was the only character in the show who could not throw for the life of him.
He couldn't join the baseball team.
Yeah, everyone else could be on their baseball team, not him, though.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I didn't like his character, though. I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, and to be fair, let's actually talk about Hina. Hina was good.
Yeah.
It's just her super strength really could have came in handy, but she didn't use it at all.
I felt like it was just selective super strength, where sometimes, like, I can use this, other times, nope, that's not allowed.
Like, she got trapped in a net. So, now let's move on to obviously the main character of the show. Ankh again, no, Edgy. Okay, well, Ankh's very intertwined, but we're actually going to be able to talk more about Ankh, so good for you.
Yeah. Yay!
So, what were your thoughts on Edgy? Because Edgy definitely developed a lot during the series, and a lot was revealed about him throughout the series.
Yeah. I really liked his character and his development a lot. I thought it was quite interesting. And, like, his desire was basically to get power to be able to help everyone as well.
Yeah.
I thought his development throughout the show of him slowly, I guess, gaining, I guess, that desire to truly be able to, like, help everyone, I thought was interesting. And overall, he was just a fun character. He was enjoyable to watch and stuff.
He was also, like, he was definitely, how do I say, he was naive, but
Yeah.
not stupid.
Yeah.
Which is refreshing, because we don't usually get... Usually it's either, like... You're usually just either smart or stupid. He was naive, but smart still.
Yeah.
Like, he was able to make sure Ankh couldn't just use him at first.
Yeah.
And you could also tell that he definitely grew to, even though all the times he would say, oh yeah, I would get rid of Ankh, you could tell he still cared about Ankh.
Yeah.
Especially by the end when, like, he's dazed after his fight with Ankh near the finale at the beach. And he's like, oh, Ankh, here's your money for your ice pop today. And he thanks Ankh as well before that.
Yeah.
Which I think is one of the sweeter moments.
I 100% agree.
But overall, actually, one thing I actually do want to point out, and I actually thought about this on my first watch through, like, a couple years ago, is I really like the dynamic near the end where Edgy decides, I want to become a greed so I can have that power to help people. Meanwhile, Ankh's desires revealed that he wants to be more alive and human.
Yeah.
So they want to be more like each other, which I don't know, I kind of really like that. And definitely when they, like, fight, it's like they both want what each other have, and they're both jealous a bit in a way.
Yeah. That was really interesting to watch and see.
And you have any extra thoughts on the characters or anything?
I guess not really, for the most part.
Okay.
I would say though, I liked he was cool.
Really like Ankh is your son, right?
Yes.
That's what we ended up calling your son. So
Yeah.
I don't know how much it's gonna really be for you, but how hard it's gonna be. But going from number 5 down, who were your favorite characters of the season from least to most? Not least to most, but like from 5 to 1. 1 being most favorite.
So I guess I would. Okay, the
Who's
order
number
I think number 5 would be Kogami. I thought he was enjoyable, screaming happy birthday at everyone.
Okay.
You see, number 4 would probably be Goto.
Okay.
Because I just thought
His
I liked
development.
his. Yeah.
He grew a lot. He might have grown the most, or at least one of the most.
Yeah, I definitely feel he was definitely one of the most to be able to grow throughout the series.
Okay. Number 3.
Next, I would say is Dante. At first, I just thought he was kind of there, but he definitely grew on me a lot. I really enjoyed his character and stuff. And I just thought the reason behind, him wanting the money, that makes sense once you realize it.
Yeah,
But,
he didn't want it he didn't want it for the hospital. He wanted it for himself so he can eventually make the hospital.
Yeah, because if you're not around, then what are you gonna do for making that project?
Okay, number 2.
I'm gonna put Edgy there because again, I really liked his development. I keep saying I like your development because I do, but I just feel like I should use other words.
A lot of characters develop a lot during this series.
Yeah. I just really liked his personality as well. I just thought, again, like I said earlier, I really think he's just a fun character who, has, their flaws, but I still feel was just a really good character, really well written, and he was just cool.
Yeah, okay. And obviously number 1.
Yeah, everyone knows this probably. It's Tonk. He's the best. He's the best character in the entire show.
He was very enjoyable, and his actor
Yeah.
Yosuke Miura did a great job. And he also acted, obviously, for Shingo, which was very different, but also obviously similar in some ways to Ankh.
Yeah.
So, very, well done. Now, at least for me, my top 5 would probably be very similar. Because at number 5, I'd probably swap out Kogami. I'd probably put Kogami at number 5. I'd probably put Erika there just because you start the series and you're like, okay, she's just going to be a background character. And then eventually she starts kicking ass.
That's fair.
It's just like, what? Okay, this is a thing now.
The one condition
Yeah.
is join the party.
Obviously. No, she was just a surprise character, and I said this multiple times, but yeah, she probably should have been birthed.
Yeah, I think she would have done pretty well.
Yeah, she was probably more qualified than either Date or Goto, even though I love them.
Yeah.
Speaking of those two, I'd probably keep the same order as you, Goto then Date. For the exact same reasons. Date is just a whole lot of fun. And obviously at first you're skeptical about him, but then he's just a chill dude. And Goto just has such a good character arc. And obviously the only thing I changed, I'd probably just put Ankh at number 2 and then Edgy at number 1. Mainly just because obviously I do love Ankh and everything. Actually on the second watch, so I actually appreciated Ankh a lot more. Because on my first run, I kind of only really started liking him around, well, not liking him, but loving him around like around the second half. This is when he actually started growing on me a lot more. Because obviously at first he comes off very abrasive.
Yeah.
But rewatching it actually let me, like, knowing where his character arc would go, let me actually, like, appreciate everything building up to it a lot more. And really made me realize, wow, this is really well done. And at number 1, I had to put Edgy. He's, I think, on my favorite Kamen Riders of all time, he's, like, my third favorite, and he's just amazing. I just love how positive he is and just how he wants to help everyone. It's just really nice, and he's definitely someone who I think, like, he's actually, like, a hero. Like, if he didn't have the O's powers, he would still be a hero.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you there.
But yeah, overall, we have very similar lists. Like, almost all the same characters are on our list. So, yeah, obviously you can tell, like, how great the characters are. And by the way, Nick, I'm assuming when you said Ankh was your favorite character, you meant Bitch Ankh, right? You really like her?
No! Stop!
Okay, on to the story. Now, obviously, O's does have its fair share of arcs, but I decided to simplify it down to 3, mainly based on who are the main villains at the time. So we're mainly talking about the Greed arc, the Kazari / Bitch Ankh arc, where they're the kind of main villains, and then the Maki arc. Which, you can it's a bit blurry, but you can kind of tell where each one would go.
Yeah.
So, mainly, obviously, the Greed arc ends around probably when Kazari betrays the Greed.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
And then the Maki arc probably starts when he actually... either, I would say, you could either say it starts with the dinosaur medals, or you can push it back a bit further and say with the defeat of Bitch Ankh. Because obviously that just takes him completely out of the picture, and obviously he did highly influence that part of the story.
Yeah.
So, out of these, which arc would you say is best out of those, with their relative time spans?
Right now I'm just kind of debating between either the second or third arc, because I think, like, those two I feel were probably the best, but I'm not sure which one I would say is my favorite, because I thought they were both really good.
Yeah, okay, I think that's fair, just saying they're about both of you, because they kind of are. I would maybe slightly give it to Maki, just for the fact that I feel like he definitely probably pushed them farther than before, because to be fair, like, Bitch Ankh, which I think was probably the bigger villain than Kazari, did kind of, like, stay on the sidelines for a really long time. Meanwhile, Maki still, like, actually pushed the story along.
Yeah, he was there pushing the story along, or where they were going and stuff like that. So, that's fair. I might actually agree with you there.
Yeah.
With that being the best.
Yeah, overall, the story was very solid. Like, even, I would say, the second half was a lot better than the first still, because you didn't have to there were still two-parters, but they felt less and less like two-parters, because every episode, like, from the second half onward, something big happened.
Yeah, each episode was very important.
Not saying that the first part was bad, it's just that the first part was a lot of setup. obviously very necessary setup, but still it does kind of hurt a little.
Yeah.
Now, now for top 3 favorite forms of the season.
Top 3 favorite forms?
Yeah. And we're gonna include the movie form.
The one that was from the one movie we saw?
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna put that in there. Because
I'm
we both agreed that it was probably the worst. But yeah. So number 3.
Number 3, I think I'll put I think I'm gonna put Birth. I really like that suit.
Okay.
Kind of grew on. It grew on.
Come on, we are counting Birth. I probably should have established that. We are counting Birth and Proto Birth.
Yeah.
And Love.
Yeah.
Okay. Birth, that's fair. Birth is a very nice suit.
Yeah.
What will you say next?
Next. I mean, the next two are probably interchangeable for me, but right now, I'm gonna say the second one's probably Tataba.
Tataba?
Yeah.
Very solid base form. That's completely fair. It's like perfectly balanced unbalancedness.
Yeah.
And number 1?
Number 1's probably is Tajidor.
Tajidor is really beautiful.
Yeah.
And has a lot of good significance to the story, which we'll get into in a bit. But for me, I would probably have a almost identical list with maybe either number 3. I'd probably say Tajidor is obviously my favorite, but
yeah,
I would probably put. I have 3 that could interchangeably go in 3 or 2, so I'm just gonna say they're Tatoba, Birth, and also Prudotira, because I do like Prudotira, though I think it is a bit busy.
Yeah,
but not in like the kind of nice way that Birth is a bit busy, where it's obviously mechanical.
Mhm.
But I might have the exact same list, to be fair. But we can't, lead the greed out. So, greed suits. What is your favorite? We have Gamel, Mazul, Uva, Kazari, Bitch Ankh, and Ankh, because they technically have different suits. Edgy and Maki, because they also have different suits. Though only slightly.
I think my favorite suit's probably just Ankh's.
Yeah,
I
would agree with that.
I just really like the design of it. I think it's the best designed, even keeping my bias out of it.
Yeah, I'd probably say Ankh. In a second, I'd probably put Uva. I like Uva's a lot.
Oh yeah, that suit's pretty good too, actually.
Yeah. Now, obviously, we built up to this favorite episode and least favorite episode. Let's get the negative out of the way first. What would you say was your overall least favorite episode of Kamen Rider OOO? Not saying I don't think there was a bad episode. I'll get that out of the way. But what would you say is your least favorite of them?
So my least favorite, I think, is probably 1000 movie and the combatant.
That's completely fair.
And probably part of the reason is because I haven't seen the other one, so I can't really appreciate the fan service that was in that episode.
Yeah, it also kind of cuts into the plot.
Yeah, it's like when this heavy plot stuff happening, when we first see that, there's another Ankh. It's just like, okay, bye. We're gonna do, 1000 episode special, which I get why I wanted to celebrate that. It's just, it takes away a bit from the action again, because I haven't seen any of the other Kamen Rider shows. I can't appreciate the references and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's completely fair. Man, okay. Man, that actually makes me rethink mine. Damn. I would. This is tough, cause I didn't even think about that. I keep forgetting that's an episode.
Yeah, I picked the first one instead of the second one purely because I think the second one was a bit more interesting than the first one.
Oh, yeah, the second one was a bit more interesting. I might have to agree with you on that, actually. My original pick was actually originally going to be the close friend they use in this connection, just for the fact that, like, I don't know. There was part of me that was kind of like, okay, you don't have to kidnap his friends to you know, or was he just gonna let them die? Like was he gonna let Ankh die? Because Ankh had to get out eventually.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, that episode was... So, if we talk about canon episodes, that'd probably be the bottom, but yeah, I'd probably have to agree with you on 999. Also, because, is it canon? I don't know. It was in the flashback near the end, but, like, they say Kamen Rider's a show. So, like, that doesn't work. I'm dying. That's how mad I am.
It's so confusing.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I actually would agree with you on that. You actually changed my mind. Good job.
Nice.
So... Because I didn't even think of that. I even forgot when we caught it. I was like, oh, this thing exists. It's not that it's bad even, because like you get some good moments like Date as director and everything.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it feels like so like, oh fuck, we have to celebrate the 1,000 episodes. And they had to do it in 2 parts, so it couldn't just be 1 episode.
Yeah.
Which it probably should
like
have been.
And like compared to everything else, it just felt like it's the only, in my opinion anyway, the only 2 episodes that ever felt like filler, like of just having more episodes.
Yeah, because even in like the early episodes, something would still develop.
Yeah. So I just felt those 2 weren't the best.
Favorite episode?
So I think my favorite episode, I guess this could change, but honestly, I think it might be the last episode, which is, you know, Tomorrow's Medals, Underwear,
and Arms Held. That's also the one I chose.
Yeah,
it's also, a really great episode.
Yeah. Also, I like how the title correlates with the first title of the first episode.
Yes, I was gonna point that out too.
See, yeah, I'm a sucker for that.
Yeah. And obviously, Ankh's sad departure at the end. To be fair, he could have survived if they didn't use Tajor, and to be fair, they technically could have used Puto Tira, but at the same time, Edgy could have lost control and completely have lost himself. So, overall, Tajor was probably the smartest move.
Yeah.
And obviously, it symbolizes the whole journey, and you got that special call, Taka Kujaku Condor by Ankh.
Yeah.
The only critique I have about the episode is that it's too short.
Yeah, I felt like that should have been longer, because it felt like the actual final fight just felt shorter than it should have been, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, but not only that, but like the epilogue was really quick. Like, he just looks at Ankh's medal, and then it zooms out on him and Hina, and then it's like, and goes, oh, yeah, dabs. And, like, obviously at the end you do get that nice scene of him looking down at the 2 parts of the medal and saying something in the vein of one day again once more, or something similar to that. And obviously, you know, that does set up that Ankh could come back one day, and you get to see Ankh's spirit flying with Edgy as they go on a new journey.
Yeah.
So yeah, we actually read on that one, so that's cool. That's a really good episode though, so it's not really there. Like it basically was it was all the build up just paid off, and I definitely think as someone who actually being able to throw in some of my expertise from actually watching the other series, like it probably was the best or one of the best Rider finales I've seen. Very few, I would say, equal it. Like I have problems with like Kamen Rider Doubles finale. I even have a problem with, even though this is probably going to get me manslaughtered by some fanboys, I have a problem with Gaim's finale, mainly the fact that it feels like there's a tacked on episode at the end, which I'm not going to get into so I don't spoil you, because we're going to watch that eventually.
Thank you.
But, yeah, the only one that I think comes closest personally build, but at the same time, that had a bit of build-up problem near the end. But yeah, overall, it was a really solid finale, and usually Toku shows, or at least sometimes Toku shows, have problems landing that finale, and there's very few shows, just in general, that I think have a finale that good, and it honestly, you know, had some hopefulness at the end, but also still had the feels.
Yeah, it's definitely really hard to get a good ending, I feel, because you could fail on just delivering for all that final build up, and it just did such a good job at that. And like you said, the only thing that I feel like I just wish it was a longer episode, they had more time.
Yeah, out of all the episodes, that one should have been the 2-parter. I guess technically it was a 2-parter with the episode before, but still, those episodes felt so distinct, they don't even feel like 2 parts.
Yeah. So I definitely, if it just had a little bit more time, I definitely feel like that could have been even better than it already is.
And here's the thing, from talking to other people in the Kamen Rider community, and obviously, you know, if you're watching this, you know, tell me what you think in the comments below. I don't think I've talked to a single person who honestly thought O's had a bad finale. Like, usually, like, a lot of people agree that it's one of the top finales. Obviously, you know, some people have their personal preferences. Oh, maybe they like Blades more. Maybe they do like Gimes more, even though I have my problems with it. Maybe it's Build or X8 or whatever. But, yeah, I'm saying all these names that you don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always had a really strong finale, and obviously, now that I opened up that can of worms, obviously, you know, put your thoughts on O's in the comments below. Yeah, just because if obviously I'm assuming you've seen O's, we are spoiling. I'm probably gonna put a spoiler warning at the start, but
that's a good idea.
Yeah, obviously. But yeah, it was really enjoyable. I really love O's still, and I'm not usually able to go back to shows and you know, rewatch them or games and watch. There's very few times where I can do that with a property, and that's why I was a bit nervous when going back to O's. But it honestly lived up. But I'm not gonna go completely into that yet, because I'm saving for the closing thoughts.
Yeah.
Now I have to ask. Actually, I think I know what this is gonna be. But most surprising moment of the season. I think I know what this is gonna be.
I guess for me, it would probably be just the fact that there was another Ankh. I guess I wasn't expecting. I really was not expecting that.
I thought you were gonna say Ankh's first technically death to Bitch Ankh.
Oh, that also, I hated that. That was horrible.
Yeah, because I felt your heart break on that one.
Yeah, when I was not ready, I wasn't really ready for that at all either. Both of those, like him first existing in the first place, I wasn't expecting that, and then him just when he at the end of that episode, him basically dying, even though he wasn't dead, but he died.
Well, you thought he was dead for a day.
I did. I was so depressed. I was like,
obviously you had hope that he'd come back, but at the same time you were like, what if he doesn't though? Because there's only like a bit of episodes left.
Yeah, that real hurt. That hurt me real deep.
Obviously, the second death had a lot more build-up, so that one wasn't really shocking. But also, he got to go off on his own terms.
And it wasn't just by some imposter. And, you know.
If Ankh's your son, then Bitch Ank's your worst enemy.
Yeah. But yeah, those two, like, just his existence and also him at the end of that episode just, like, killing Ankh, and just those two were definitely the biggest surprises for me.
Yeah, for me, I would probably say what surprised me, seeing as obviously I can't really judge on this run, but on at least the first time I watched it, was probably at the end of Date's first goodbye episode, where it's revealed Date survived, because I actually thought he died too on the first time watching that.
Yeah. That's another pretty big surprise.
Or even just the fact that it wasn't Goto who became Birth the first time, that was a pretty big surprise.
Yeah.
Now, if you could change one thing about the season that could have increased your enjoyment of the season as a whole, what would it be?
I guess one thing I wish they did a bit more. So I wish they did more with Hina. I just feel like she was there for the most part throughout most of it. I wish they did, I guess, more with her.
Oh, she got to interject with her emotional moments.
Yeah, but besides that, I just felt like I don't know. I maybe I'm just.
That's completely fair.
I just feel like for the most part she was kind of there, and again, just the supernatural strength only sometimes being there.
It's funny, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just wish maybe more was done with her character.
If I had to say, one thing I would just wish that we got a bit more time with the greed actually, being big threats.
Yeah, that's true too. Because they were just kind of.
It's thrown away after a while.
Yeah.
Like maybe I don't know. Maybe have like a plot where like they're conspiring against Maki because they don't want to go out of control or something like that. Like show that they actually aren't just puppets.
Because you're right, for the most part, they really just felt like, but in a sense, puppets. A lot of the time, just doing whatever Maki was saying.
Yeah, and even though at the end, like they keep saying, "Oh, all the greed are just pile of medals," like obviously as an audience member, you're like, "No, they're not. They're alive, clearly."
Yeah, they have their own thoughts and feelings and stuff like that. So
yeah, even if most of them are mean.
Yeah. Wow.
Now, the last the last main point before we go into the end. Now, obviously, your thoughts on this I found really interesting. You already told me about this. So, what do you think Oz's final form is? Obviously, I already told you there is a movie form. Some people count. I don't count it because it's in a movie and it's not in the series. So yeah. So basically, it's Pudotir versus Tajidor, and obviously, I'm in the camp. I'll go first since I found your interpretation more interesting. I'm in the camp that thinks that personally he doesn't really have a final form because all his forms have their own uses, own weaknesses, own strengths. But I thought your opinion was actually very interesting. One I haven't heard. Maybe someone has heard it before, but I just think it's very interesting. So I'll let you say what you were.
So in my opinion, I thought that Tajidor was his final form, but not just like the regular Tajidor. I'm specifically talking about at the end when he's using Ank's metal. And the reason I think specifically that version is just because of the fact that the saying, like, it isn't the normal one, because, it's Ankh saying it, and the fact that during that fight, Ankh is also there fighting with Edgy. I consider that form, in my own personal opinion, to be a bit different than just the regular Tajidor.
Also, we can probably assume that's, like, sorry for interjecting, but we can also probably assume that it might be a bit strong since it has a consciousness metal in it. Yeah,
that too. So I feel like that is the final form. But again, it's not like regular Tajidor. I feel it's special, Yeah. It's Ankh's consciousness metal. It's not just the regular metal for it.
Yeah, it's definitely. I really like that thought on it, because obviously the whole point of O's is it is not only Edgy's dream but also Ankh's, and that's why they parallel near the end. Like they both want what each other have. Like he wants power like Ankh has, but Ankh just wants to be human, and that's why we get that scene where he asks Hina, "Can I have this body?" which is very emotional. And you shouldn't. You should be like, no, he can't have the body. Like that's the common sense thing. But saying you're like, you don't want Ankh to suffer.
Yeah.
Now to go into the ending thoughts. So, was O's worse, equal, or better than expected? Or for me, it's going to be worse, better, or equal than I remember. So, you go first.
So, when we first started watching the show, I guess I didn't really have too many expectations. Like, it's probably going to be a good show. But, like, I wasn't really expecting it to be, I guess, mind-blowing or anything like that. But after watching it, it's definitely better than what I thought it was going to be. Because the characters were amazing. I enjoyed the story a lot. Ankh, like, I didn't think I was gonna be like that attached to a character. Like, probably been one of my ever characters to ever exist now, like in any sort of media. So, I thought it was really good. It was really well done. Definitely a lot better than I thought going in was gonna be. Like, I thought it was gonna be good, but this was way better than that.
Okay. Now, for me, obviously I've already watched the series, and obviously I already talked about how, it actually did hold up. So obviously for me, it's not really worse. But, if anything, I got to appreciate a lot more with this, so I would say it's better than I remember. And obviously, if you haven't watched O's for a while, I would completely recommend watching it again. especially if you only watched it once, because you get to appreciate a lot more what went into it, how much foreshadowing they did, how well it's built up. If anything, do it with a friend, because obviously that's really enjoyable, seeing how they react, contrasting how you react, asking questions, see where they are, like, in their mind. And overall, it really gave me just a new appreciation, and you really does kind of solidify this, at least right now, as probably still my favorite Kamen Rider series, and it's obviously next, seeing as he doesn't have anything else to go off of, so wins by default.
Yay!
But Nick, do you have any closing thoughts before we end the video?
Not particularly that I can really think of. I thought the show was amazing after watching it, and I know I already said the characters are amazing and stuff. It was so good. I don't really have much to say besides that. So
okay, well, I guess I do have one more question.
Yeah.
Did you ever think in life, like when you were younger, did you ever think that you would become sad over the death of a rubber arm?
Gonna be honest, I did not think that would happen, but after watching this, it did happen, and it has been a life-changing experience.
Life-changing experience. Okay. Obviously, after this, we are actually going to be moving on to TokuNoob, which is going to be fun. Then we're eventually going to move on to Forza. I think our main goal right now is going to be building up to build, actually, because I think, and then we're gonna, do some other series, and then eventually probably get the Geo. So we probably have a good few series ahead of us. Obviously, we're gonna be alternating between Kamen Rider and Sentai.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, and subscribe. I think a lot of this was very eye-opening to me, seeing another person's perspective. Not only that, but contrasting it with my perspective after seeing a bunch of series that I've watched in between then and now. And overall, like, comment, subscribe, comment about comments. Obviously, comment what you thought about the series, comment your favorite character, comment what if you would have changed something, what would you have changed. Is always your favorite Kamen Rider, like mine, and right now Nick's. Yeah, just put it all in the comments. I will try to respond and like all comments, which I love doing. And I'll see everyone next time. Bye.